Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Harmon. Today's video takes place here in Edmonds, Washington. This is roughly 45 minutes north of Seattle, if you're not familiar with this area. Now I'm walking down the street here. I'm going to be showing you guys a house where a very horrific crime spree happened. Along the way, I'm going to tell you the story of these two sisters that were murdered. So let's walk on down there and I'll tell you the story of what happened. Stephen Byrne met Suzanne when both of them were in Pakistan, and he was working for a California laboratory and she was there working with her family. They were married in 1991, and Kelsey, their firstborn, was born about 2 years after their marriage. From all outside appearances, the Byrne family seemed like a happy family. Steve took his two daughters, Haley and Kelsey, on numerous trips around the world, including different ski trips, as well as taking them on different soccer matches they had, horseback riding lessons, and even different camping outings. However, there was problems in their marriage from the get-go. Within months of marrying each other, they were in counseling. Now, in 1994, the family moved to Bainbridge Island to be closer to some of Suzanne's family. Now, one of the neighbors on Bainbridge Island remembered the Byrne family and remembered seeing Steve teach his two girls how to ride bikes, and saw him push them on the swing or play ball with them, and even confided with Steve about his issues that he was having with his wife. There was never any allegations of physical abuse from Steve towards his two daughters or his ex-wife. However, Steve did have a very, very bad temper, and he was not willing to examine the effect that his outbursts had on his two daughters. The counselor did suggest to Steve that he should try an anger management program, as again, his outbursts were directed mainly at his wife, but again, sometimes at the kids as well. Now, this is a quote that Suzanne said. She said, quote, "The intensity," and this is talking about the outburst, she says, "the intensity was so great that I was unable to respond and was physically intimidated." She says, "I remain concerned about my safety as well as the girl's safety." Steve and his wife were going through a very, very bitter divorce and an even worse custody battle, as Steve wanted the majority of custody of both girls. And after they went to court, the judge ruled that Steve would get about 40% of the custody of the girls and his wife would get about 60%. So, in other words, Steve did not get as much time with his girls as he wanted. And so that meant that he saw the girls mainly on weekends, while his wife seemed to get the majority of the time with them. Suzanne and both girls ended up moving closer to Seattle, and so Steve was a lot farther away from the girls than he wanted, and so he ended up moving closer. He ended up getting a house here in Edmonds, Washington. Now, the day of the murders was November 22nd, 2004. 50-year-old Stephen, alongside his two daughters, Haley, who was 9, and Kelsey, who was 11, were all found dead. Haley and Kelsey were murdered by their father, Stephen, and then Stephen took his own life. Now, what's interesting is part of the 911 call was released to the public, and so I wanted to just quickly read you what it says. It's not too much information, but just wanted to read you what it says. When the operator answered, they said, "911, what are you reporting?" And then it says the caller, who again was Stephen, he says, yes, you need to send an ambulance and the police to 8121 188th Street Southwest here in Edmonds, Washington. The operator responds by saying, what's the problem? You there? Although at this point, Stephen hung up the phone. And after murdering his 2 daughters inside the house, he actually went back outside to the backyard with a shotgun. And at the foot of a tree, Stephen shot himself through the head. Now, before Stephen committed the murders and before he took his own life, he did email several friends a suicide note letting them know he planned to kill his 2 young daughters and then himself. So police did arrive at the home around 12:42 p.m. Now, I don't know for sure the time frame of when he emailed his friends to when he called 911 and when the police showed up. I'm guessing that he emailed all the friends right before he called 911, I would presume. Otherwise, if he did it hours before, you think that the police would have shown up sooner than that. Many family and friends talked to the police and reporters about Steve and just everything that happened, and many of them said that they did not see any warning signs whatsoever in Steve. And one of the family members described him as, quote, a wonderful man. They continued by saying that he loved his daughters very much, and altogether they had a wonderful life together. All right, guys, so this gray house here coming up on our right hand side, this is where the Byrne family murder / suicide happened. This is 8121 188th Street Southwest in Edmonds. Here at this little nice looking home is where it all happened. Now, reading some information on findagrave.com, it states a little message from the family, as well as like a little kind of memorial, and it says, from the perspective of Haley and Kelsey, it says, a letter from heaven to our dearest mom. Some things we'd like to say, but first of all, to let you know that we've arrived okay. We are writing this from heaven, where we dwell with God above. Here there's no more tears of sadness. Here is just eternal love. Please do not be unhappy just because we're out of sight. Remember that we are with you every morning, noon, and night. The day we had to leave you, when our life on earth was through, God picked us up and hugged us and said, I welcome you. I just think that's just an incredible, touching little memorial there on findagrave.com. All right, guys, I'm going to head out of here. Thank you for watching my video. If you're new around here and you appreciate these videos where I go to the actual crime location, just make sure you subscribe. And as always, I appreciate all of your support, whether you watch my videos, share them, like them, etc. You always mean a lot to me, so thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. See you soon.